Most of the time, your car simply gets you where you're going and brings you safely home again, and you never once give it a second thought. But every now and then, something goes wrong. A breakdown on a quiet, lonely stretch of road where the phone signal is thin. A flat tire in weather you didn't plan for and aren't dressed for. A wrong turn that leaves you sitting far longer than you ever expected, waiting on help that's slow to come. And here's the thing that nobody much likes to say out loud, but that all of us know to be true. When you're a little older, those ordinary roadside troubles carry a great deal more weight than they used to. The cold gets into your bones faster. Standing out on the shoulder of a busy road is genuinely riskier. A long, uncertain wait is simply harder on an older body. But here's the good news, and it's very good news indeed. A handful of simple, inexpensive items tucked away in your trunk and your glove box and then mostly forgotten about can turn a frightening and even dangerous situation into nothing more than a minor inconvenience and a story to tell later. So today I'm going to walk you through 9 things that every senior should keep in the car, all the time, year-round. Most people watching this have a few of these already. Almost nobody has all 9. And number 1 is the single most important item on this entire list. The one that almost everybody forgets. The one that could genuinely speak for you on the day you can't speak for yourself. So please stay with me all the way to the end for that one, because it matters more than all the rest. Let's go. Number 9, water. Let's start with the most basic human need of all, the one we take completely for granted right up until we don't have it. Keep a few bottles of clean drinking water in your car at all times, because if you were ever stranded for any real length of time, dehydration becomes a genuine problem far faster than most people ever expect, and it strikes older bodies harder and quicker than younger ones. A car stuck on a hot afternoon, a long wait on the side of the road for a tow truck, a detour that turns a quick errand into a long ordeal. In every single one of those situations, water is what keeps you steady, clear-headed, and calm. Now, one honest caution worth knowing. Both extreme summer heat and hard winter freezing are tough on bottled water left sitting in a car for months on end, so check on your supply now and then and swap it out a couple of times a year so that it's always fresh and safe to drink when you need it. It costs almost nothing to keep on hand, and it will be the very first thing you find yourself deeply grateful for when something goes wrong miles from anywhere. Number 8, non-perishable snacks. Pair that water with a little food to go alongside it. A few protein bars, a sleeve of crackers, a small bag of nuts, a little dried fruit, anything that keeps well in a car and gives you a quick burst of energy when you need it. And if your blood sugar tends to dip on you, this is not optional at all, it is genuinely important, because feeling faint, shaky, or lightheaded while you're trying to deal with a roadside problem is exactly the situation you most need to avoid. Choose things that won't melt into a puddle or spoil in the summer heat, and check them every so often, just like the water, to keep everything fresh. A small, sensible stash of snacks turns a long and stressful wait into something perfectly manageable, and it keeps you from having to make tense, important decisions on a completely empty stomach, which never goes well for anyone. Number 7, a phone charger and a backup power bank. Your phone these days is your true lifeline out on the road. It's your way to call for help, to reach your family and let them know you're safe, to find out exactly where you are when the roads all start to look the same. And there is honestly no worse feeling in the world than watching that battery icon turn red and die right at the very moment you need it most. So keep a charging cable in the car, plugged in and ready. But just as importantly, keep a small portable power bank that holds a full charge all on its own, completely separate from the car, so that you are never left dependent on the vehicle's power if the vehicle itself is the thing that has failed you. Make a habit of charging that power bank back up at home every so often, so it's always topped off and ready to go. A dead phone in a real emergency leaves you truly, frighteningly alone out there. A charged one means that help is always just one phone call away, no matter what's happened. Number 6, now winter, a warm blanket and gloves. This particular item matters enormously once the colder months roll around. If you are ever stranded in winter, whether the car simply won't start in the cold, or you're sitting and waiting a long while for a tow. Holding onto your own body, heat suddenly becomes the single most important thing there is, and older bodies, as we've said, lose that precious heat faster and feel the bite of the cold far more sharply than younger ones. A good, thick, warm blanket kept tucked in the trunk, along with a spare pair of gloves and a warm hat, can honestly make the difference between a merely uncomfortable wait and a genuinely dangerous one. These things take up almost no room at all back there, and they cost very little to buy. Tuck them away once at the start of the cold season, and then simply forget all about them until the day comes when you are profoundly, deeply glad that they were there waiting for you. Number 5. A flashlight with spare batteries. When trouble decides to come after dark, as it so often seems to, having good light changes absolutely everything about the situation. A solid flashlight lets you see under the hood, find the thing you dropped down between the seats, read a road sign or a map, check the condition of a tire, or signal clearly for help. And just as importantly, it keeps you from stumbling around blindly in the dark right next to a roadway, which is one of the genuinely dangerous things you can do. And please don't just rely on the light built into your phone, because doing that drains the very battery that you may desperately need to call for help. Keep a real dedicated flashlight in the glove box or the door pocket, and keep a fresh set of spare batteries tucked right alongside it, because a flashlight with dead batteries is nothing more than a useless paperweight in your hand. Test the thing a couple of times a year so you know for certain it will work on the night you finally need it. Number 4. A basic first aid kit. Minor injuries happen, especially around cars, and when they do, you want to be able to handle them calmly right there on the spot. A simple kit stocked with adhesive bandages in a few sizes, some gauze pads, a roll of medical tape, and a handful of antiseptic wipes lets you clean and cover a cut or a scrape properly so that it doesn't get any worse while you wait for help to arrive. And for older skin, which we know tears more easily and heals more slowly than it once did, even a small wound is genuinely worth tending to properly and promptly rather than letting it go. Keep the kit somewhere you can actually reach it from your seat without having to climb out of the car, because the moment you need it is rarely a convenient one. It's one of those things you sincerely hope you'll never have to open, and one of those things you'll be enormously relieved to have within arm's reach when the day comes that you do. If this is the kind of practical look out for yourself information you came here looking for, a quick like genuinely helps this channel reach other seniors and the families who love them and worry about them out on the road. It's completely and entirely up to you, of course, but it truly does help a small channel keep going. Now let's get to the top 3, because these are the ones that most people overlook entirely, and the very last one is the one I most want you to carry away from this and act on today. Number 3, the tools to handle the most common roadside troubles. A set of jumper cables, an ice scraper, and a reflective warning triangle or roadside flares. A dead battery is far and away one of the most common reasons a car simply won't start, and a good set of jumper cables paired with one willing passerby can have you up and moving again in just a few minutes, instead of sitting and waiting hours for an expensive tow. In the winter months, an ice scraper is not a luxury item at all. It is simply how you clear your windows enough to see and drive away safely. And a reflective warning triangle or a set of roadside flares set out on the pavement behind your stopped car make you visible to every other driver coming up the road, which matters tremendously because the shoulder of a road is one of the most genuinely dangerous places a person can find themselves standing. These items are all cheap. They live quietly in the trunk, taking up almost no space, and they turn the most common roadside emergencies into quick, manageable fixes rather than long, frightening ordeals. Number 2, sturdy shoes and a whistle. Here's one that catches an awful lot of people completely off guard. If your car breaks down somewhere unexpected and you have to step out of it, or worst case, walk a short distance down the road to find help or a signal, the shoes you just happen to be wearing that particular day may be completely and utterly wrong for the job. Slippery dress shoes, flimsy sandals, or just something never meant for picking your way along a rough, gravelly shoulder. A pair of comfortable, sturdy, flat walking shoes kept in the car means you are never once caught out, no matter what you wore that morning. And a simple, cheap whistle, kept somewhere you can grab it quickly, lets you signal loudly for attention and help without wearing out your voice, which matters a great deal more than you'd think if you happen to be stranded somewhere quiet, remote, or hard for others to see. Both items are small, both are inexpensive, and both could end up mattering a tremendous amount to you on exactly the wrong day. And now, number 1, the single item that almost everyone forgets, and the most important thing on this entire list, a clearly written medical information card, kept right in your glove box where it can easily be found by someone else. I want you to really hear me on this one, because hardly anyone ever thinks to do it, and it could save your life. Picture this scene for a moment. If you are ever in a serious accident, or you have a sudden medical event behind the wheel, a stroke, a cardiac event, anything that strikes without warning, you may simply not be able to speak for yourself by the time help arrives. The good people trying to save you will have absolutely no idea what medical conditions you live with, what medications you take every day, what you might be dangerously allergic to, or who in the world they should be calling on your behalf. A simple card, written out clearly by hand or printed and kept right there in the glove box, can tell them every bit of that in just a few precious seconds. your full name, your emergency contacts and their phone numbers, your doctor's name, your major medical conditions, your allergies, and a list of the medications you take. Now, some folks also choose to keep a very small supply of a critical medication in the car as well. And if you decide to do that, just please remember that both heat and cold can affect and even ruin medicines over time. So keep only a short-term amount out there. Store it as protected from the temperature swings as you possibly can, and ask your pharmacist what's actually safe to keep in a vehicle. That little card costs you nothing at all but a few quiet minutes to make at the kitchen table, and in the one moment when it truly matters, it can speak clearly for you when you simply cannot speak for yourself. There is no more important thing for you to carry in that car, and yet it's the one thing almost everyone leaves out. Now, one more thought that ties all 9 of these together, because having the items is really only half of it. Twice a year when the seasons turn, take 10 quiet minutes to go through your car kit from front to back. Swap out the water and the snacks for fresh ones. Test the flashlight and check the spare batteries. Make sure that warm blanket has migrated back into the trunk before winter sets in. And take a glance at that medical card to be certain nothing's changed on it. No new medication, no new phone number for the family. It's a small ritual, but it's the entire difference between a kit that actually works when you need it and a kit that just sits there quietly expiring. And while you're at it, do one more simple thing that so many people forget to do. Tell someone in your family exactly what you keep in the car and where each thing is. If you're ever in trouble and they're the ones who reach you first, or the ones sending help your way, simply knowing that there's water, a blanket, and that medical card waiting in the glove box could matter enormously. Preparation isn't a one-time event you check off a list and forget. It's a small, steady habit, and it's one of the kindest things you can quietly do for yourself and for the people who love you. So there are your 9, all together now. Water, non-perishable snacks, a phone charger and a backup power bank, a warm blanket and gloves, a flashlight with spare batteries, a basic first aid kit, the roadside tools, sturdy shoes, and a whistle, and most important of all, a clearly written medical information card sitting ready in your glove box. You don't have to go out and gather every bit of this in a single afternoon, so don't feel overwhelmed by the list. Start with that card today, because it's completely free and it matters the very most, and then simply add the rest a piece at a time over the coming weeks until your car is quietly, completely ready for whatever the road decides to throw at you. The whole point of all of it is beautifully simple, so that an ordinary bit of bad luck on the road stays nothing more than ordinary and never has the chance to turn into something far worse. So tell me down in the comments, which of these were you already carrying without even thinking about it, and which one are you going to add to your car this very week? And if you've ever found yourself truly glad you had something with you during a breakdown, please share that story below, because it just might be the exact little nudge that someone else watching needs to finally get ready. Take good care of yourself out there on the road, and I'll see you in the next one.